Hello guys and welcome to another Minecraft guide. Today I will teach you guys how to survive in the desert and how to build a base there. Like, to be honest, if you want to start your first base somewhere, I would not recommend the desert for it, and there are multiple reasons why, and I will talk about this today. First of all, if you are in a desert biome, you won't find any trees, so you can't really get any wood. And the only food source you actually have here are those rabbits. So you need to hunt down rabbits and cook them, because there are no crops or anything growing, unless you locate a village. And that's something I always recommend. Look out for a village in the desert and build a base near to it, for multiple reasons. For once, you can do trading there, and second, you have there often crops growing and you can farm stuff, be it like carrots, be it wheat or anything else. And there's another issue in the desert. Because you have no wood, you have limited resources to build structures. And what's mostly common in the desert is, of course, sand. Now, can you do something with sand? Yes, of course. You can also use sand to create some material that can be used for buildings. Like here in this case, for example, we have 8 blocks of sand. And if you use 4 blocks like that, you can create 1 sandstone block. And if you create multiple sandstone blocks, you could, if you wanted to, build a house with sandstone blocks, like in this case. And you can create a wall and stuff, and if you collected some wood from a neighboring biome, like the savanna here, yeah, you can start building a house. Oh, and sometimes you're lucky, and those rabbits, they just jump down, and now you have some rabbit meat, like raw rabbit that you can cook at a furnace, and then you have something to eat. But besides those rabbits, you won't find any food there. However, there is still a way to grow stuff in the desert and to create a functioning base that has everything from animals to crops to tree farms and all. But there's a little trick you must use if you want that. First of all, if you're in the desert, and yeah, there's my desert kingdom. This is actually one of my bases. I will also introduce you to that base later and show you what I did and how I made it possible. But what's really important is, if you build a base, try to find dirt blocks with grass, like here. So you need to have some water source somewhere with some grass blocks. Like here in this case, for example, oh, we have grass blocks near to the water. And wait, what biome is this? This is desert hills. Now what you can do is, if you want some grass and you want to grow some trees, you could actually start removing sand blocks, like here in this case, and start placing dirt down. What does this do? If you have dirt blocks next to grass dirt blocks, the grass will start growing on it, and the more blocks you actually have next to each other, the faster it actually goes. Like, for some reason, if you have like 2 or 3 blocks like that and not just 1 block, it grows way faster. So if we wait for just a little bit, we will see how the grass starts spreading. And what you need to do then, especially for like animal farms, you need to line up that dirt. You need to find a way to move that dirt and let it grow. And I'm sorry to say this, but this is crazy time consuming. But that's the only way you can make a farm from scratch if you don't have any special tools. There's also a pro mode, like one that you can do like when you're already into the game and you already have something special. You could also use a silk touch pickaxe, for example, and look for a dirt block, like in this case, for example, here. And you can farm it with silk touch, and voila, now you have a grass block. And you could actually just take this grass block and place it somewhere where you want to create your base. Like, let's just place it here, for example. Now you can place the dirt block, the grass block here, and start putting more dirt blocks next to it, and you will see it starts growing on it soon. And if you cover a larger area, you can collect some either chicken or sheep, and or cows. You can lure them with some wheat and start a farm there, put a fence around there, and there you go. Or you can create a big tree farm, meaning that you spread the dirt here, you get a bunch of saplings. Do I have any saplings? No, unfortunately I don't have some. But you could also start growing trees, and that way get wood for doors, for trapdoors and other stuff for your structures. And yeah, this one should start spreading pretty soon, and you will see there will be more grass blocks. Let's go to over there and look if the grass started spreading yet. Okay, it didn't. It takes a while. Okay, it starts working. Do you guys see that? Like, here's now another grass block. So that grass, even though it takes a long time, starts spreading. So let's say made a field like that. And for like a small farm, that would be enough. Like, you can put a fence around there. It doesn't matter if there are like sand blocks where the sheep or cows are, but you always need to have multiple grass blocks, because especially for like sheeps, if you want like some wool, they need to be able to eat grass. And if you want to have a lot of wool, you need that. And wool is very important to make beds and stuff, right? So you always want to have a sheep farm at some point at your base. And here it also starts growing. I actually put there some more dirt blocks, so that's another block that started growing. Here it's growing, so yep. And buckets are also your best friend in the desert, because you want to be able to collect some water with a bucket. And then, for example, like here, where's the water bucket? Oh, here it is. And then you want to make a hole somewhere, like let's say you make a hole here, fill it up with water, and then you can start growing some crops. Like, for example, like carrots. So it's very important that in the desert biome you have access to some grass blocks. If you don't have Silk Touch and you're really new to this world, then just look for those small extra biomes. Like where there's, for example, river. And river does spawn quite often within the desert. So you have access to some dirt blocks that have grass on it, some grass blocks. Okay, since it's getting night, and yeah, we see here it's even further spreading, we have to go quickly to my kingdom, my base, to sleep. And it's also very dangerous, especially if you're new to the desert. There are husks spawning, and those are a variant of zombies that cause a hunger effect if they hit you. So if you're already short on food and you get hit by this zombie, you'll be in trouble, because your food will go down, especially if you start sprinting a lot, because you want to cover a bigger area that you explore. So you have to always make sure you bring enough food to the desert, or if it's your first biome, to find a river nearby. You could also find some fish in the river and cook it. There's also a way, or you could just hunt down rabbits. Yeah, like earlier we did get a rabbit, and we could like just cook it if we want. Let's cook some rabbit. Yeah, like here. Now it's being cooked, and later we have food. And talking about wood and talking about structures, there's something really important that I want to point out and give you an advice on. Yes, sure, you don't need the desert to collect wood, and you could always go to a neighboring biome like we saw earlier there, like a savanna one. But I always recommend to look for those oasis-like areas within the desert, like river like we have here, and either grow some dirt blocks within the desert like here, because this is desert but we have some grass blocks, and start growing trees. Like, it doesn't matter if those are acacia trees, jungle trees, or giant spruce trees, but you need some source of wood, because not only do you need it for those farms. And what's happening here? Why do I have so many iron golems spawn in there? That is freaking crazy, guys. And yeah, do you see that? How those sheep are eating that? Like all that grass. And wool is such an important material, because you need it for beds, and even if you want some decoration like carpets. So to have a functioning sheep farm, you need grass blocks as well. Okay, now we got some wool, we could make some beds. Oh, and there's something I've learned about building a base or building buildings in general within the desert. Don't ever use cobblestone. Like, I'm not saying you can't use cobblestone, and you can use like a bit of cobblestone, but if you create buildings with cobblestone in the desert, they look not so nice, because the color just doesn't match at all. Like, just look at that. Like, imagine this was a house and an entrance. Okay, that would be a crazy small door, but let's just assume this was a building out of cobblestone. Like, just look at that. It wouldn't match at all with the color theme of the desert. You most definitely want to go with sandstone or smooth sandstone if you make a house in the desert. It's just so much better. Like, just look at this house in comparison. Like, if we place a cobblestone there and compare it with the sandstone, like, they can't even be compared with. They're worlds apart. Like, it looks 100 times better to build with sandstone. And if you then have like a little bit of wood, be it like jungle wood, like for those buttons here, for example. Oh, I didn't know that you can actually also activate trapdoors with that. Thought this was just for doors. That's fascinating. And yeah, you can add like a lot of nice decoration if you build in some wood. Or like those cool doors. And yeah, that's my cool desert market that I once created, where I can trade with villagers and stuff. Oh wow. And if you're looking for some dye or you want some color within the desert, I go for cactuses. Oh, they can erase themselves. Okay. Now I'll quickly explain you how this works. Like, how do you actually turn the cactus into dye? We are about to make a dyed bed, and I will teach you now how to make a dyed bed. So you need to look for a furnace, or you need to create a furnace if you already have. And then, okay, we don't need that here. Then you just place the cactus there, and this time we're going for a coal. And this one, once it's done, will turn into dye. Okay, now we got some green dye, and we are about to make a green bed. You also create a carpet with that. I mean, you could always farm flowers in another biome, or use some bone meal on for example, the river biome within the desert. Or you move some dirt blocks, but that's a way how you can get a dyed bed. And to be honest, green doesn't look that bad. But let's just place a bed here for example. And look, it actually matches well. And then if you put pot like a cactus, that's nice. Yeah, so that's how you get a dyed bed or like a carpet within the desert. One also very important thing is, if you grow crops, there's a certain range. If I'm not mistaken, this is 2 or 3 blocks. Like, I have to look it up. But I think it was either 2 or 3 blocks that crops grow extremely fast near to water. So if you create a farm within the desert, try to go for multiple blocks. Like here, for example. Like, it's okay if you use like just 1 block, but the more water you have, the better, and you can go like 2 or 3 blocks from it, and you can have a huge amount of wheat like I have here. And you actually don't need like grass blocks. You can even use like normal dirt, like here for example, and you can create a farm like that too. The grass is only important really for if you have like a sheep farm and if you want to grow some trees. For that it's quite important. And if you want to bone meal for like multiple dyes and flowers. If you use bone meal in the desert on grass, you only get the poppies and the dandelions, or what they are called, the yellow flowers. So yeah, you can get red dye as well, and you can get the yellow ones. Wait, let me see if I can... Oh yeah, here. So yeah, you get yellow flowers and red flowers, so you can either go for orange dye or you can go for red or yellow dye. And that way you can also make a nice base, or you can color some terracotta, like here we have some red terracotta. And a little advice I can give you with as well is, try to somehow get some terracotta. Like, it doesn't matter if you grab it from a mesa biome or from underwater, from some clay. But try to just mix in something within your buildings or outside of your buildings, because otherwise those sandstone buildings look quite boring. Now there's one big problem. If you want to move sheep or anything to the desert, or like, I mean, chickens is easy. For chickens, you just need to collect a bunch of eggs. So you can wander around in different biomes, get like a stack of eggs, and you just start throwing the eggs until you get baby chickens. Okay, I need to be crazy careful because there are some golems, but eventually, like, yeah, we have now a baby chicken. You see that baby chicken? So that way you can breed chickens, no problem. But for the other animals, like cow or sheep, I'm about to show you how to move them to your base. But first of all, we need some wheat. Okay, that's enough for our experiment. So what's very, very important for you to do is to locate another biome next to your desert biome. Okay, let's quickly head to our plains biome that's nearby. Because they happen to spawn our plains biome right next to it. And we already have our victim, a sheep. We're about to move the sheep to our kingdom now, and I did hear some steps here. What's happening? Okay, let's go to the other side and let's move that sheep. So yeah, if you fight then like animals like sheep or cows and you have like wheat in your hand, they will start following you. And they can also cross water, so don't be afraid to swim over the water with your pet. But make sure to always stay nearby and use space so you don't drown. If you're playing on PC, of course. And yeah, it will slowly follow me. Once it's over the water, it goes faster. I mean, you could put dirt blocks there to create a bridge and that way it's even faster, but yeah, and it's completely no problem if a sheep walks in the desert with you together and chases you with the food. But I'm not going to move the sheep there because otherwise all my other sheep will escape, so I will put the sheep back. Oh, this will take a while. Come over there. Don't turn into a water sheep. It's almost done. They have actually weird lips, those sheep. Their faces look interesting. Why your face looks so interesting, huh? They have very, very weird faces, those sheep. Like, just look at that. Alright. Let's go back to our bed. Any bed. And then there's also something really, really important I must teach you guys or tell you guys about the caves in the desert biome. Because desert caves are very, very dangerous, and I will explain you in a second why that is. And yeah, like sandstone, I'm a big fan of sandstone. In my opinion, you can create crazy, crazy rooms. And everything you put on sandstone can look just so great, be it a purple carpet, be it some jungle wood seating area, be it beds. It's just standing out so much because of the sandstone's bright color. So take full advantage of your environment and build with sandstone. Alright, let me quickly show you something about desert caves, and something very, very dangerous, and you need to be careful. I even saw experienced players die to that, so it's not just for newcomers but also for old school players. Wait, where was the entrance? Somewhere here was a cave entrance? Oh, it was here. Oh, there's something super, 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 super dangerous. Okay, let's go down here. Okay, let's say you're digging for something and then you see some beautiful granite and you're like, I want that granite because maybe I need it for a build or some iron. And now just look what happens when I start mining it. Everything just freaking falls down. So if I stood there, I would be a goner. Like, I would be gone from this world. Like, seriously. All those blocks would fall on me and they would crush me and I would be stuck in there, take damage and be gone. So you have to be crazy careful. And do you see this sort of like smoke or those sand cones, like this dust falling down there? That's indicating then that there are some entities, like some loose blocks, that if you mine there something, like for example this stone here, everything will just fall down. So you need to be freaking careful if you mine within the desert. You have to be crazy careful. So watch out for that. And let's also put that granite back, because we don't need that. And sometimes, like, it looks like, oh, I have so much space to work on here. But it could be that there's just one block holding the sand. Like, for example, okay, I need to be crazy careful here. For example, here. Like, did you see that? I removed just one block and it looked like a steady block. So you have to be really careful. I recommend something for you guys. If you're, like now we are on layer 58. Go to layer, wait, when was this? Like 52, I think, or 51. And there's like almost no sand anymore. Like it's very rare to find sand on like layer 51, for example. So try to dig deeper down before you dig straight. So always dig down. And by down, I don't mean dig down like straight down like this, no. Dig down like this in a stair shape, like digging style, right? Like here. It's so important. Because you don't want that sand to fall on you. So always look for like 2 blocks at least ahead, even better 3, and then you dig like that. Then in case if something falls, it won't hit you. So you have to be crazy careful with that when you're exploring caves or when you're digging in caves in the desert biome. So always watch out for that. It's better to be careful and spend a bit of more time exploring and digging than to be a goner and lose your valuable items. Like me, for example, I have 51 iron ingots. Like imagine you have like 20-30 iron ingots and then this all falls on you and you respawn somewhere and you maybe don't find back. You lose all your valuables. Like all those items and stuff. So be very careful when it comes to digging. So number 1. Look out for another sub-biome, like a small biome, like be it river or biome that's next to the desert, and try to move some dirt blocks to your desert. I mean, if you just go for crops, you can just do it with dirt, but if you want a sheep farm, for example, or a good tree farm, or you want to go for flowers, always make sure to either silk touch it, or to make some sort of dirt block bridge and be very patient and start moving those blocks. Like here, for example, we have like a few blocks, even 1 block is enough, and we could do the same method here. And let's say we want our base to be where the cactuses are, just like earlier, you place down some dirt. Oh, and by the way, it doesn't have to be on the same level, so even if you put dirt up like this, like in such fashion, it will still grow. It only needs to be right next to a dirt block. It doesn't matter if it's 1 block higher or not. Only if it was like 2 blocks higher and there was like a sand block, then it wouldn't work. But if it's just 1 block above, no problem. It will still spread. And I've heard that if you place a torch, it spreads faster, but I'm not really sure. I have to yet confirm it. I'm not sure if this actually is on just one platform or if this is on Java or where it is like that. But someone told me that if you place a torch, it can grow faster because of a higher light level. But who knows? Like, don't take my word for this, but someone told me that. So yeah, as you guys see, there's the first grass block. So we could move all the dirt to the wall and through, but yeah, this will take eternity. And what you always can do to save some dirt, I hope here would be one. Okay, that's just an example. I will of course place this back. Like you could just remove the blocks and move the dirt again. So you could have like 10 or 20 dirt blocks and constantly move them. Go for a row, then move a row, go for another row, move a row, and always wait. And you could, if you want to, also place a bed and just wait it out. But it's very time consuming and boring, so it's always better to go with silk touch. Then you can have a functioning sheep farm as well. And My best advice is locate a desert village. Because since you don't have wood, and if you start out in the desert, you need to use a bed that's already in a village, also as a respawning point. So try to find the village if you can. If not, you need to find a cave. And yeah, you can't really mine well with your fist, but you need to, I don't know. Maybe you need to run to another biome if you see it gets late and find a cave there and get some wood. But yeah, it's very, very important to have food supplies. And for that you need dirt and water, and you need iron. And since you don't have iron at the beginning, you want to go with either a river nearby or a village. And once you have iron and you have your best friend the bucket here, you can start growing crops everywhere in the desert. You just get a bunch of dirt stacks, place down water, get a few seeds, and that's it. And you have an infinite food amount. Yeah, I hope this guide was helpful for you guys and you've learned more about the desert. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you guys next time.